Here are 10 most common mistakes that you are making when you are playing light. Mistake number 1. You are playing with bad teammates. If you want to improve at this game, I highly advise you to join the competitive Discord. I will leave a link down below in the description where you can verify yourself. If you have FPS achievements, you can post it and admin will add them to your role, so people will see what kind of level you have, and then you get teammates that are on your level or a little bit above. You improve together, you work as a team, and it will drastically improve your light gameplay. Tip number 2, you are playing a wrong weapon. Every single tier list for the finals states that MP5 is a superior weapon, when in reality it's completely the opposite. 99% of the player base will never be able to be accurate with an MP5, and light class is significantly nerfed from an open beta state to the point where if you are missing a few bullets, if you are just a little bit out of position, if you caught incorrect timing, you will die from cringe 9 times out of 10 using an MP5. So instead of going with LH1 with terrible visual recoil, instead of going for M11 with terrible range, go for the double barrel. This is gonna be the easiest yet most effective weapon to carry your games as light. You have the ability to double tap heavies, you have the ability to one tap lights, and overall you will be able to play around the cash out and objective more, because like you can't go in with a shotgun, you have to fully commit to that, so you would force yourself to play with the team and win more games as a result. Mistake number 3, you are playing the wrong specialization. It's very important to go for the invisibility. It's very important to do so, because I see so many players saying like, oh, I can get away with going for triple dash plus vanishing bomb, or I am fine with playing grappling hook. You are fine until you meet a player that's running an invis and he's gonna completely devour you alive. If you think that other abilities are decent outside of cloak, that's just a cap. You haven't been reality checked yet, and trust me, in higher levels of gameplay, especially when they will add skill-based matchmaking, where diamonds are queuing against diamonds, you will lose every game because of that. Very, very important to play invis for scouting purposes, very important to play invis to strike enemies from behind. Quickly go back to cover, reset, and do that all over again. Mistake number 4, you are playing wrong gadgets. It's very important for light players to fundamentally understand your possibilities and limitations. First of all, you are a scout and an assassin, and everything that contradicts the playstyle should never be in your inventory. Stuff like breach charge, stuff like flashbang, stuff like, I don't even know, motion sensor, or whatever the hell people are playing nowadays. Your inventory should look something like this. You go for a double barrel, you go for a stun gun, you go for an EMP, and you go for a grenade, a frag grenade. If you see that there are too many light players in the lobby, you can actually swap the frag grenade for thermal vision in order to have initiative advantage over them, in order for you to be first when you are stunning them, because people are never ready for you completely out of the blue, knowing where they are at. Mistake number 5, you are dying alone in the middle of nowhere, super far from your team, without achieving anything special. So many times in my solo queues, I see that my light player goes in for the cash out. We have a cash out, we're defending it, everything is perfect, and bro decides to go in for like across the map just to die there without coins, because he already did it twice in the first round, and as a result we are forced to give up the cash out just to get back the initiative on our side, and I would have to travel longer distances to res him, and then we are out of position and not ready to meet the team that's coming to us. And all of that, this is just a complete disaster. Many light players are making the same mistake. This game is all about playing around the objective, not the person that gets most kills, not the person that gets the flashiest kill on the match. You literally need to get more money than your opponents, and if you want to win, you need to play with your team. Mistake number 6. You are starting the engage way too early. How many times you died from cringe because you were approaching an enemy, going for a stun gun, he turns around and kills you within the first half a second of you trying to shoot your weapon? Way too many times, right? And let's imagine the situation where instead of you mindlessly going in, you look at your teammates. If you are in Discord, you ask them, guys, are you ready to start the fight? Are you ready to jump with me? Are you ready to zip up on them? And very important to let your heavy and medium player, or let your double heavy or whatever composition you are playing, to take all the damage onto them. You want to make sure that your enemies are so distracted, are so delusional, thinking that they will be able to win a 2v3, that they completely forget about your existence. It is very important to punish opponents like that. You go behind them, you 2-tap, you go back and completely devour them alive, while again they are distracted shooting your enemies or teammates. Mistake number 7. You are starting fights too late. This is gonna be another mistake that ties down to communication or the lack of it. You want your team to have a correct and clear vision of how you would want to start the fight. So if you are not ready yet, if you haven't set up, if you are not ready to throw your nades, if you are not ready to jump on a person, your team should never go in, as realistically what's gonna happen is just gonna be a complete disaster. Your teammates are gonna get aped while you are only like climbing up to high ground or just completely out of position. So in that situation, make sure that you communicate with your team that you want to go in, and if they are ready and you are not, you should speak about it. You should be vocal about it. Say, guys, I need 5 seconds, and then after we go, I'm ready to stun this person, 3, 2, 1, and then you strike together from both sides, and enemies are so confused, they are so lost, they are absolutely not ready, and they die from cringe. Mistake number 8. Your movement is very predictable. I killed so many light players that are just running in straight lines. This tip is gonna be very useful for people that are struggling with finishing the kills. When you're playing the double barrel, very important to have a very nice movement, very unpredictable one, where you are constantly going in and out and pressing your abilities in a correct manner in order to minimize your downtime between you killing people and resetting, right? It's very important to not take much damage in fights, and I see so many players making the same mistake. When they are playing with MP5, they are coming too close, completely out of cover. They are just in the middle of nowhere trying to diff a person that has every single chance in the world to kill them. And then the opposite situation is correct when you are playing with a double barrel, but for some reason you are just too afraid to get close to an enemy to 2-tap him. So you spend a lot of time like 2-tapping him, and he's half HP and he's putting up the shield, and now you lost your window of opportunity and everything is just terrible. Don't be that guy. Mistake number 9. You don't understand how to set up on a high ground for a future fight. It's very, very, very important to have a clear picture of where your enemies are coming from and how you want to approach the fight. Very important to have a medium with recon sensors that will tell you all the information so you can set up in advance to not be surprised by your enemies striking from behind or something. Very nice thing that you can do is you can again use your teammates as a fish bait just to jump on the enemies that are completely clueless and trying to kill your enemies. You are standing on high ground, you have the ability to land clear nades, and while you are dropping onto them, it's really easy to go for a taser, it's really easy to double tap and run away, because enemies would have to look here, look there, and it's just very disturbing and uncomfortable to fight like this. And the final mistake is that you think that you need to be a solo carry every single game. Your role should be to play around the objective. That's your fundamental main role. Your second role is to distract enemies and make them uncomfortable, make them scared, make them afraid, make them think that you are always behind them, breathing in their ear, and they would be very cautious about taking positions of interest because you can always be there and you should always be there. For example, when they are trying to go on a high ground and they are just poking with your team, you can quickly pick off a person, but it doesn't mean that you have to kill the whole team just to feel good about yourself on light. Don't forget that this is a team game. It's not like you have to do all the work and then your heavy and medium are just chilling around waiting for you to kill 3 teammates all over again every single fight. Don't think that you need to be a solo carry player. That was it for today's video. See you in the next one. Take care.